All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the weekly Penn State Wrestling Media Session with Coach Cael Sanderson. We also have wrestler, All-American Roman Bravo Young joining us after. We will go ahead and get started with questions. Raise your hands when you have one, and I'll call you out, and you can have at it. So, Jim Carlson, go ahead and get us started.
Morning, Cael. Safe to say is it safe to say you're at the mercy of your daily COVID testing? I mean, I'm assuming Sunday's match is still on, but come Friday, negative testing could ruin the weekend. Is that how things are going now? And how do you deal with that uncertainty?
I think we're obviously we're planning on wrestling on Sunday, but yeah, we're at the mercy of the test. But I think hopefully we've gotten through the worst of it now. As we start to get our student athletes back. But yeah, I mean, at any time, any program under the rules could could close down. It's a pretty low. It's like 7.5%. If you have a 7.5% positivity rate, then you're out. So when you have a small roster, it's not difficult to get to that number.
Pete Terpstra.
Hey, Coach. This is a little out of the box. So wrestling and coaches talk a lot about mental toughness. I feel like that's always associated with, harder workouts and keeping your weight down and, kind of the grind of a wrestling season. But what does it do for these guys mentally when they're gearing up, getting ready to start the season, and then it just has to be paused before it even starts?
Yeah, I think it's part of mental toughness is just being able to stay focused on your goals, right? Regardless of obstacles or any fog or whatever adversity might appear. Just staying focused on your goals, keep moving towards them, not being willing to get distracted or frustrated. I don't think it's a huge or surprise to have. Obviously we didn't really have many cases just in the fall and into November, December. But we chose to have the team go home for the holidays, and that clearly that wasn't a good idea as far as keeping COVID out of the room. But I still think being able to spend the holidays with your family is worth it. But we just have to just do the best that we can and just kind of keep moving forward. But yeah, like you said, I mean, mental toughness, I think it's just being able to, just the grit and the determination of being clear on what you want and regardless of, what obstacles appear, because usually obstacles don't appear in the form that you would expect. I mean, that's why they're obstacles, right? I guess. So just staying focused and more than anything, just staying grateful for these opportunities because they're going to come and we'll be ready when the time is here, and it's here now. So.
Clay Sourtig.
Hi, Cael. One of the guys you talked a lot about last week was Greg Kirkfleet and how he came along in the offseason. First off, is he somebody that people can expect to see in the lineup this week against Michigan State? And we've seen more of him in freestyle. How does his mat wrestling stack up at this level?
Yeah, he's just a great wrestler. He's a tough competitor. He loves to compete. Obviously a tremendous athlete. And, we're not sure whether we'll see him this weekend or not, or when we'll see or anybody. I'm not going to really talk about individuals and get into that stuff. But yeah, I mean, he's a competitor. He's a great kid. He loves the sport, loves to learn. Obviously, if you've watched him compete or if you've watched any of the matches that we had in this this past 4 months, he's an impressive character. So yeah, we're excited about him and his potential for sure.
Andy Elder.
Hey, Cael, how are you?
Hey.
So with all the precautions you've had to take with COVID, have you had to alter your practice schedule or separate guys at certain weights or starters so that you don't have the same group together and run the risk of having one weight or a group of starters contract the virus in case an outbreak would hit?
Yeah, I think we've had multiple practices throughout from the beginning of the outbreak when we were able to come back and start training even in the club. Those are things that we have to consider when we're setting up and matching partners and who, and we just our trainers and the doctors and medical staff have made some nice suggestions just on not having two people that haven't tested positive together, right? Just because even the rate and the chance of getting COVID for a second time is very small, and so just kind of keeping some of those things in mind and doing the best that we can. But at the same time, we don't want to just overthink everything, and we just want to get in there and train and compete, and I think we'll figure it out as we go along here. But it's just one of those situations where if you think you can plan everything out perfectly and everything's going just fine and great and dandy, and then maybe it isn't. So we're just going to remain grateful and just look forward to being able to compete this weekend on Sunday.
Penn Surface.
Hey, Cael. You had your obstacles last week with the whole COVID issue. Who are some of the leaders that you've seen step up and kind of take charge of the situation, and how have they done so?
Yeah, it's a tricky situation just in the amount of time a positive test requires to get back. Big Ten is 17 days, so when your season's 2 months, that's a decent chunk of it. And but yeah, I think we've had some great leadership, and I think it's been a lot of the leadership is just outside of the room, right, and just making sure that these guys are doing the right things and they're following the rules as the best that they can, right? But we have guys that are really doing a good job in the training and the energy that they're bringing to the practice every day. Guys like Roman, who you'll hear from later, has done a great job just in just the way he's competing and training and his excitement. We have just the usual guys. I'd say Nick Lee has been a great leader. Aaron Brooks, Carter Schrock, he's really stepping up as a leader, as a guy that's really setting the example, or one of the guys setting the example as far as work ethic and mindset. So this will be as we get going here. I think this will be a great year and great opportunity for these kids to really step up as leaders and just just the things we've already been talking about, some of this adversity and not being able to wrestle, and we've been preparing to wrestle for a long time, as somebody stated, and then find out a few days before we're not. That's it's just staying focused, and that's where we need that leadership, and these guys will have that opportunity to do that as we get going here.
Lauren Whistler?
So what does it look like for you guys when team activities are paused? Is the gym open at all? Can small groups go in? Can anyone go in? And how do you keep guys, in shape and ready and engaged mentally during that time?
Well, things are moving and changing, I don't even know how much or what I should even say about that. I mean, it's just even as we paused, everything was just shut down, right? And basically, it's, hey, we'll see you guys when we're off of pause, and that's the case for a lot of guys. But yes, I'll just leave it at that. I think it's these kids really have to take a lot of individual responsibility in some of their training right now, and just making sure they're doing the right things and being creative and using whatever they have in their houses to just get a workout in. And that's been kind of the case from the beginning, even before we were allowed to come back. So I think a lot of it's just up to the individuals to make sure they're getting what they need, make sure that they're ready, make sure obviously in our sport are a big concern. It's not just that we're on pause. These guys have to manage their weight and be ready to compete 1 hour after they make weight. And that's one of the bigger challenges for the sport of wrestling. So if we're on pause and then we're just all of a sudden not on pause 2 days before a match, well, that's just a decision that we have to make. Are we ready to go? And that's going to be dependent upon the individuals and the kids in the program to see what they've been doing. So we try to guide them as much as we can, but ultimately we're not there with them. It's up to them.
Mark Wogenrich?
Cael, just to follow up on that and clarify, you are not in the wrestling room as of today? And then to follow up on that, how then do you assess just the general fitness level of your team?
Yeah, no, we've been in the room. I don't know, these days kind of run together now. Just thinking, we've been in the room for probably 4 or 5 days going. Outside of the kids who had a positive test, of course, or that were potentially contact traced, right? But we've had a good number of kids in the room. You know, we were on pause for a short amount of time, and then the kids that we felt, or the medical staff felt that could get going, you know, they got going. Although it was a small group. But I know we had practice today. We had practice yesterday. I mean, we've been rolling. So just whoever's available and allowed to get in there and go, you know, they're going.
Partha Vidyaya?
Hey, how's it going, Cael? Appreciate the time this morning. This is something we talked to James Franklin a lot about throughout the football season, but just want to get your perspective on it also. You know, something that James kind of said was, you know, at least his guys, you know, just having to play football, and that's really it, you know, going back to their dorms and not really having a life.
You froze there, I think, unless I'm freezing. I don't know.
All right, well, let's go ahead. Nate Cobbler, go ahead. Parth, if you come back, I'll give you a chance to re-ask that question. Kind of cut out there. So go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Cael, I hope all is well, and you know everybody's trying to stay as healthy as possible. Just real quick, what you know, let's say you guys do hit the mat Sunday against Michigan State. This isn't your typical Michigan State that's been in the past. I mean, they've gotten a lot better than where they used to be. You know, can you just talk about their team and you know, just the opportunity to see a team that's been, you know, you could say the bottom dwelling of the Big Ten for a while, now being able to come back, you know, or that are up with you know, kind of up with other schools.
Yeah, Michigan State has a very strong team. They have some, you know, a number of individual stars, highly ranked guys that are, you know, kids that you've got to, you know, if you want to win the Big Ten or you want to win a national tournament, you have to be able to, you know, to beat, obviously. But, you know, we're just going to focus on ourselves and just being the best that we can be, each wrestler. But yeah, anytime you compete, you know, you're not going to underestimate our competition in any way. Michigan State's a strong program, and they've got a great coach and a lot of energy, a lot of new energy, as you said, especially over the, you know, the last couple of years. And you know, they're going to come in here and wrestle great, and so we're going to have to do the same. And we're looking forward to that challenge. Anytime in the Big Ten, I mean, obviously Big Ten wrestling is very competitive, just as it is in most sports. So, you know, it's just time to go. It's time to compete, and we gotta be ready to go.
Kim Carlson.
I saw where Clarion and Ryder had nearly 30 exhibition matches, and Clarion starters wrestled twice. I'm assuming they do not count as 2 matches. And if teams can only travel 16 in the Big Ten, would you wrestle anyone twice, or, you know, just use your depth?
Yeah, I think we're going to try to get it kind of depends on the team coming in, who they have available, and just, you know, coordinating that with the program coming in. I don't think we have the flexibility to have that many matches because, you know, the Big Ten set us with two officials, and so. But as you've probably seen and you look around, I mean, these teams are getting close to 10 exhibitions, so we're going to get as many as we can. And you know, that magic number is 4 for each individual, right? So guys, especially guys that haven't had a positive COVID test yet, obviously you got to get them to 4, just because you don't know what the case might be, or you know, if they were to get sick and not be able to go to the, you know, the Big Ten tournament. But yeah, we're going to get as many matches as we can. We've got a lot of kids in the program that want to compete, and this is a kind of a special situation where we can do that, and we're going to take advantage of it just like everybody else is.
Parth, want to go ahead? You cut off there, so go ahead and repeat your question.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think my Wi-Fi.
That's all right.
Good question. But Cael, what I was asking is, you know, Aaron Brooks talked about it a little bit last week, but just kind of wrestling and not really having a life outside of that, especially for college students, it's got to be tough. How have you seen your guys handle that so far?
Well, I think it's everyone's in the same boat. It's been tough for everybody. It's been tough as a nation. I don't think these student athletes are immune to that, and not. It's just been a tough year, right? So I think them again just being able to stay focused on. I think it was more difficult also when they weren't thinking there was going to be a year, right? That there was going to be a season. So now you're looking even further ahead. And that's hard, especially at that age, to kind of, it seems like forever away. But I think once the season and was underway and they announced that basketball was rolling and the hockeys were rolling, and I think really once football started, I think it kind of changed. But like I said, in the last week when we were talking, that was one of the reasons that we were trying to set up events, just because I'm with these kids, I'm more concerned about, just them and their mindset and being stuck in their rooms and not having something to look forward to. That was a big concern for us as a staff, and I think our guys responded to that. But yeah, I think they're not unique. I think it's just typical across the country, and we got to just figure it out and just stay focused. And again, I mean, being grateful here for what we have, as a conference, as a team, as a university, as a nation. We've got a lot to be grateful for.
All right, so got time for two more here. Andy Elder.
Cael, you and your team talk a lot about gratitude, and you have throughout the years. I'm wondering, when almost every aspect of your life has been altered, have you had to remind the team and as coaches each other the kind of things you need to remember that you should be thankful for?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's just something that you have to take time for, like you said, and you have to discuss it and just recognize things, right? I mean, because our kids, I think it's pretty common around the country. The word gratitude is not something they're really, taught. We're not taught that, obviously, as a nation or in sports. It's just, but I believe very strongly, that's the key to happiness, and that's the key to success in whatever field we're in. So, we've got to remain grateful, and when you're grateful, you're going to kind of look for blessings, and you're going to look for reasons why you can be successful, and it's motivational, and it's just a powerful mindset that I think it's super important for us, regardless of where we're at. If we're winning, we should be grateful. If we're losing, we should be grateful. Anywhere in between. Because that's the bigger picture, and that's the foundation that we've got to build on if we want to keep moving forward.
All right, Ben Surface, go ahead and wrap us up.
Cael, you mentioned earlier about how letting the team go home for the holidays wasn't the best decision looking back on it now. But you also stressed how important family is to your guys. Do you maybe regret letting them go home for the holidays? And was this positive test directly related to letting them go home? Do you know that for certain?
I think it was. I think it is. I mean, we had maybe one or two positive cases in the last 2 months, and then as guys kind of traveled, we have kids going home all over the country, obviously. And but no, I wouldn't. I'd make the same decision again. It was a team decision. It was something we discussed back in November as a program, and it's what the student athletes, kids wanted to do, and so I support that 100%. And yeah, we've been set back, unfortunately. I mean, we're I believe we're going to have our match with Rutgers will be rescheduled, and so we'll be able to get that competition in. But just the holidays and spending that time with your family, especially this year, I think is definitely worth a little setback. Obviously, we weren't hoping, or we were hoping not to get into the position that we found ourselves. But we'll deal with it, and I don't think anyone regrets having done what we did.
All right. Thank you, Cael, very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk to you later. And now we're going to bring Roman Bravo Young in.
All right.
Roman, you're muted, I think. Go ahead and unmute.
It's good.
Awesome. Thanks, Roman. All right. So thanks for joining us, Roman. Really appreciate it. Same thing, guys. We got about 15 minutes here with Roman. So if you have a question, get the hand up, and we'll go ahead and get started with Andy Elder. Andy, have at it.
Roman, you seem to take your game up a notch at the end of last season and at the Big Ten championships. Have you been able to maintain that momentum during the pandemic, during these uncertain training times and uncertain all times?
Not sure. I guess we'll find out soon, right? We're all waiting to wrestle. So hopefully Sunday, and I guess we'll see what's up.
Any other questions for Roman? Ben Surface, go ahead.
Roman, Cael just mentioned here with us, he talked about leaders stepping up during these difficult times. And he mentioned you in particular and the energy that you bring every day to the mat. Can you elaborate on that? Or what does that mean to you? Or do you focus on, bringing that high intensity and leadership?
Yeah, I just work hard. I think if I'm working hard, everyone else is going to work hard. And I'm trying to win at the end of the day. So I think when you have people who want to win, it's just you are who you surround yourself with. So I just, like me, Carter, Aaron, we go in there with a purpose every day, and we hope others follow us.
Jim Carlson?
On the last event, you wrestled the jiu-jitsu style. What was that like, and that whole night actually, and how do you take lessons for that into your folk style season?
I mean, not really any lessons in my folk style season. It's freestyle and folk style, but that was just for fun. It was just to get a match in, and it was fun for me. Eventually, I want to fight one day, so I was just getting some jiu-jitsu with some of the biggest names. It's just cool for me, and yeah, it was fun. And I appreciate Cael for letting me do that, and a lot of the fans liked it. So,
Pete Terpstra.
Hey, Roman, I feel like there might be this kind of old school attitude of wrestling where there's this pride in putting in a ton of work when no one's watching, or you got a lot of high schools wrestling and there won't be a lot of fans there. How do you think the sport has changed as far as trying to increase its popularity, individual wrestlers, increasing their own branding and kind of being aware of what that could do for them down the line? And how do you think kind of COVID accelerated that?
I can't tell you my secrets, my guy. No, I'm just kidding. But I think you just putting yourself out there. It's definitely gonna be hard without fans. So you got to put yourself out there, but do it the right way. I mean, I like to do it, but then you got to balance it out the right way. But I don't know. I feel like it's different for everyone.
Lauren Muthler.
Last week, Aaron was telling us a little bit about how, when everything was closed, he and a couple teammates have been wrestling in his front yard. What are some things that you've been doing or creative ways that you've stayed in shape and stayed engaged with your teammates during this whole time?
Yeah, so I'm part of that. We are wrestling in the front yard. We'll watch like Khabib train and run hills, so we'd be doing that stuff. We'll find some hills around here and be running with weights on our back. We did yoga. We did a whole bunch of stuff together. So yeah, we'd wrestle in the living room. We'd just roll jiu-jitsu in the living room, try to choke each other out. So we're just finding ways to work out.
Andy Elder.
Roman, with training regimens and cycles being disrupted by COVID, do you feel like your God-given ability, your quickness, and your athleticism give you maybe an advantage over wrestlers who rely on routine and repetition to get better?
I don't know. I mean, even though we had a shutdown, I was still working out regardless of that. But I really don't look at it like that. I think everyone's the same, so I don't really look at my athletic ability as an advantage. Still got to put that work in.
Mark Tolson.
What's up, Roman? So Cael kind of talked about this earlier, that just the impact of having those freestyle matches when there was like uncertainty of what the season was going to be like. I just wanted to ask if that was impactful for you to be able to work for something and like train for something with a purpose.
No, 100%. Imagine you working and not getting paid, right? We work out every day. We want to cash some checks. So yeah, we want people to see the work we've been putting in. So yeah, no, it's definitely a lot more exciting when you have something to work forward to and you have a new challenge to overcome. And yeah, so that's why we're just ready to compete. I'm getting anxious, getting bored.
Parth, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Roman? Appreciate the time this morning.
Yep, what's good?
We talked to Cael about this a little bit, but what kind of mental toll does that take on you when the season kind of pauses before it even really starts?
Yeah, it sucks because we're getting our weight down. We want to compete. I was looking forward to wrestling maybe Alvarez again. So I was getting my hopes up because that's a fun match to get excited for. But at the end of the day, we can't dwell too much. People have it a lot worse than us. So it's kind of just go with the flows and just be grateful that no one really getting too sick from this stuff, and that we're going to be able to get a chance to compete. So just having a level minded about it. Can't get too high and can't get too low about it.
Clay Sourtig, go ahead.
Roman, you had the match with Aljamain Sterling. Saw in the past you've worked with Dominic Cruz. Is MMA something that you've thought about in the future? And what's your time frame look like for when you'd like to get more involved with that?
Yeah, it's definitely something on my mind. I'm cool with a lot of big names in the UFC fight game. I just work with them with some wrestling, and then they teach me how to throw my hands and just movement and stuff. But I just get my paws in there little by little. I definitely wouldn't start doing that. That's not something I would start doing probably for at least 10 years. I'm gonna wrestle as long as I can.
Andy Elder.
So Roman, Cael has often said that athletes tend to perform better in all facets of their life when they're at their busiest. So do you agree with that? And if so, are you happy for classes to begin today to get more routine into your life?
I mean, I'm not a big fan of school, but I do what I gotta do to get it done. But I mean, it's still, my classes are still online, so it's not really a routine online. I'm just sitting in bed with my face in the camera, so I really consider that a routine. But yeah, no, it's cool to have something to do for a couple months, and then it gets old. But yeah, it's crazy how fast time's going by. I'm already about to be a senior. It's crazy.
I got time for two more. Ben Surface.
Roman, Cael mentioned despite the complication, he doesn't regret letting you guys go home for the holidays. What does that mean to you having a head coach that values family the way he does? And what was it like for you to be able to go home and kind of unwind a little bit and spend the holidays with your family with COVID going on and everything?
Listen, that's the coach you want, right? It's about the kids. We'll worry about the wrestling when it comes. And going home for me, it means a lot because I miss them. I'm from Arizona, so it's a long ways. I don't really get to see my family that much, or none of them really get to make it out here. So that means a lot to me. And like he said, I don't think anyone regrets going back home over missing a match or getting COVID. Obviously, no one wants it, but it's an opportunity we took and we decided as a team. So yeah, thank him for letting us go home.
And Jim Carlson.
Roman, despite all the interruptions and everything, just what have you seen in the room that makes you think this Penn State team will be another very good one?
We just work hard, and everyone's their own person at the end of the day. So I think everyone just does what they need to do, and it all comes together. And like I said, I think people will be excited when they get to see us at full strength when we're all fully healthy. It's gonna be fun.
All righty. That's what we have time for. Well, hold on. Roman, you got time for one more? I got Andy Elder with a question.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead, Andy.
So Roman, going back to last March, has it been a bigger adjustment with all the alterations with COVID? Has it been a bigger adjustment with your academic part of your life or athletic part of your life?
Adjustment, I just say not even probably just athletic part of my life. If anything, I got more time just to work on little things to just get better. I mean, school ended in May, so I mean, I didn't really do too much schooling this whole time, but I think just athletic.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right, well, Roman, thank you very much. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us again. Roman, we will see you here later in the week. We'll be over in the room with you guys, and we'll see everybody Sunday, ideally. Those who are credentialed, remember, apply for your credentials if you haven't, and otherwise you will be able to watch on. Thanks, everybody.